Hello, Tom from Every Step Calculus, everystepphysics.com. These problems you can search on Google and put in the integral of, you have to put sqrt, for the square root sign here, radical sign. But otherwise you can check that. You notice that all the professors and all the things have plus signs. They all love plus signs because this all stuff is Pythagorean theorem. In other words, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And you got the right triangle, with the opposite side and the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. And so that's where all this. So when you put a minus sign in there, it screws up that system, so it becomes a different problem. So I put that in here to show that my programs can do that. Take me this stuff here took me about maybe 3 weeks to get to program it correctly. And then I have to go through all the different scenarios because, like for instance, this one will factor out to 2 and 3. But then when you put 7 in here, it won't factor out. See, that's a different program, etc. And you never know until you put these in the calculator, in the program, to see whether they work or not. So, and there's 10 million of these useless problems, So anyways, let's try these. I have to go slow with the simulator, otherwise it'll screw up on me, especially after I've talked for 15 minutes or whatever, make the big video, and then it screws up at the end, so I have to erase the whole thing and do it over. Press index 8 to get to my, by the way, some people have texted me and says, well, I put index 8 into the calculator and it never works, it doesn't come up with anything. So then I have to text back and say, well, you have to buy my programs first, and then you get instructions, and I email the programs to you, which is about 800 of them now, more than 800. And then you load them into your calculator from your computer, So anyways, that's said. And then if you feel like subscribing to me, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, everybody is always big deal about these videos, but I'm just doing these videos to help kids in calculus, Let's do it. U-substitution in my menu. As you press index 8, you get U-substitution, which you scroll with the cursor here to get to it. Generally in tests, they'll tell you that it's U-substitution problem or something, but in my programs, you can go to U-substitution, put most of these in, and it'll find the right way of doing them. Some of them are, with trig substitution and things like that. So, and then you got integration by parts. Those are the 3 major ways of integration. And remember, integral is the area under a smooth curve. That's all it is. And when you integrate something, you're trying to find the area under a smooth curve. All these things can be graphed, for instance, and it better be a smooth graph, nice smooth curve. That's the reason they like sine and cosine, because they're all going up and down like this, all perfect, and they can do a lot of calculations from that. Useless calculations, I might add. But anyways, it's the area under a curve, and these are indefinite integrals. If you do a definite integral, then you give the, after you find the integration, you put in the limits to it, so then you can find the area between those limits under the curve, using the x-axis for the bottom of the graph, So enough talking about this nonsense. Let's see. U-substitution, we go here. I put secant in here because if the problem has secant in it, then you have to say yes, and it'll go to another program. The reason for that is there's no secant in the calculator itself here. In other words, you can't put secant in here, cosecant, things like that, for trig. So we say no, there's no secant in the problem. And we have to enter the problem. We have to press alpha first. Let's do this first one. 1 divided by left parentheses 6 times the second, and x is the square root sign for here. Square root of x, right parentheses, plus 9. Finish off the parentheses. I always show you what you've entered. You can change it if you made a mistake. We say it's okay. And we're into the program. I is integration. Integration equals. Now notice that it factored this, the calculator does this automatically, so I don't know when it's going to do it. That's the only tough thing about programming. I don't know when it does this, and you have to program it totally different when you do that, when you have that. And so we take the first constant out. Here's out of the integral. All constants come out of the integration, okay? Then we get the u. U equals 2 times square root of x, and then we find what x is equal to, which is u squared over 4, and then the derivative of x, and then the derivative of u is u divided by 2 du. So now we substitute that in. We bring the 1/3 out of the integral, and we go 1, and then u for the 2x plus 3 times what dx was, which is u over 2 du. And then we bring that constant out, turns into 1/6. And I'm not going to go through all these calculations here. You can just write them on your paper for homework or tests. And press enter, and I take you through every one. Here you're forming 2 integrals. So basically it's really a way of learning, but I'm not interested in way you're learning calculus. It's such a worthless cause. All I want to do is pass my tests and get out of there. That's all I wanted to do. I have no time for memorizing nonsense in life. There's too much interesting things to memorize and learn. So the greatness of my programs is what I designed, and that's what I used. Got A's in calculus. I was an electrical engineering major, you know. We back substitute, put the 2 times square root of x in here. Now we have to multiply that. So the answer is 1/3 times square root of x minus 1/2 times the log of 2 square root of x plus 3 plus c. We're done with that problem. Do we want to do another problem? Yes. Let's go back and do another one. No, there's no secant in there. Alpha 1 divided by left parentheses 9 minus 6 times the square root of x, right parentheses, and right parentheses. Now that factored it again. Say it's okay. And then we notice it brings the minus sign out of into the numerator here, so that we have to deal with that. So here's the first constant out, minus 1/3, etc. I'm going to go through this quick. There's the u substitution for it. And we substitute it in. We bring constants out here. Minus 1/6. Common denominators. We form 2 integrals. Integrate. Back substitute. And we got the minus signs here. Well, that's cool. But you'd mess up, and I would mess up if we did those without having the program, of course. New problem? Yep. No secant. Hope we get lucky here now. I'm going to go slow. Alpha 1 divided by 7 times the square root of x plus 9 I don't know what that is. Let's see if we can get lucky. A lot of times I have to do the whole thing over here now. I'm going to erase the screen here and clean it up by going F1 8. And let's try it again. Alpha 1 divided by left parentheses 7 times square root of x right parentheses plus 9 Oh, maybe we got lucky, huh? Okay. So here's the u-substitution. Notice you take the whole thing here. You can't take the constant out because this constant is not involved with this number here, so you can't just put 1/7 on the outside. This is you have to keep these together or keep them unfactored. And then and then of course you find x, you square this side and stuff, and you do the calculate u squared over 49. And then when you do the derivative of this, we get 2u49 du. And so we enter all this substituted in. We add 9 and subtract 9. That's the big deal in these things now. You're going to add 9 and subtract 9 because the denominator is u plus 9, so we put u plus 9 up here. But in math, you have to, whatever you do, if you add something, you have to subtract it to keep the equation proper. You can't just do things on one side or do anything in a function and without screwing it up. You have to subtract it. Plus 9 plus minus 9, okay? And then we use common denominators here. Simplify that, we come up with 1. That's what they're always trying to get here, is 1 here, so that we can form two integrals. And of course we keep what's outside of the integral on forming with both integrals. We integrate it, 249 times u, and then here's 249 times 9 times log of 1 over u plus 9 plus c. We back substitute here. And then we multiply the constants. Here's the answer, 2 over 7 square root of x minus 1849 over 49 times log of 7 times square root of x plus 9 plus c. Notice how the answer is more complicated than the original function. Oh, but professors will say, oh yeah, but that's easy. That's the reason that they can go into space and they can do orbits and you can figure out calculus and do all kinds of things with calculus. No, you can't. I've never found one problem that was useful in calculus that was solved. Not one. After 30 years of this crap, okay? So remember that. But anyway, subscribe to me if you feel like it. Want to see more of my bitching about calculus? That's always fun. YouTube's probably going to shut me down now with the way they're censoring stuff. Who knows? When you tell the truth, you're really censored, Anyways, good luck in your classes. Plus, when you buy my programs, you can call me. I'll give you my number. You can call me and I'll help you with calculus. I'm an expert at calculus, and you can, not only expert, but expert at teaching elementary calculus so that it's understandable to you. And that's what my programs do. is they are very, very the simplest method possible, you know. And the same thing with physics. If you buy my physics programs, which solves any paragraph of words for a problem, and that's pretty tough too, so I'm pretty proud of those too. So anyways, I'll help you with loading the programs, I'll help you with the calculus, whatever you need help, I'll do it, okay? So have a good luck in your classes and good luck in your courses. Okay, bye-bye.